Thanks, Michelle. As she said, my name's Elizabeth Heiser, and I'm here next to the Cuyahoga River. I don't know if you guys know this about the Cuyahoga River, but in the late 1960s, it actually caught on fire. There was so much pollution in this river that it caught on fire, and it started what we call the Clean Water Act, which is designed so that we don't have pollution in our water bodies. And so the Clean Water Act started to make sure that our lakes and our rivers stay clean. And so I'm here today next to the Cuyahoga River because I'm Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District's Natural Resource Coordinator. And so I go out and I inspect streams and I inspect what we call stormwater retention practices. And we're next to one right here, which is a rain garden. And this isn't quite complete, but we're at this rain garden that's treating stormwater. And so my job is to make sure that this works right. So let's talk a little bit about stormwater runoff and what that is. So as it rains, water runs over our land. I'm going to say that again in case you didn't hear it over the truck. So as it rains, water runs over our land. So it runs over crops if you're in an agricultural area. Here it's going to run over all this pavement, it's going to run over off the street, and it's going to end up in this rain garden or in our Cuyahoga River, which drains to Lake Erie. And so when it's running off into the land, into this rain garden, and it's running off into the stream, it's carrying things with it. So if you're in your agricultural area, it might be carrying phosphorus that the farmers use to treat their plants, or listen to the construction over here. Here in our urban environment, it could be carrying these construction materials into the river. It could be carrying manure. It could be carrying manure into the stream if you're next to an agriculture. Here we have dogs. Some people don't remember to pick up their poop. That can get carried into our stream and into our rain gardens. And so we're worried about that. We're worried about pollutants going into our streams. And the reason is, back before we built all our agricultural fields and we built all our urban environments, forest was here. And so when water falls in a forest, it filters through our healthy soils. And here in this environment, we don't always have healthy soils because we've changed the way the land works. But we want to emulate that. So we want our urban and our agricultural environments to treat water and to treat those water quality pollutants just like it would in a forest with healthy soils. So how we do that? So in an agricultural area, we might have something similar to this rain garden that's called the grass swale. And so instead of having a lot of vegetation like this is going to have in it, it'll just be grass. It'll be kind of a indented area like this where water will flow. It'll sit next to your crops, in between the crops and a river. And as water flows off your crops, it'll flow through that swale, and that'll take up nitrogen, it'll treat things as it filters through the practice before it goes into your water. And so here, in an urban environment, we've got water and it's coming off pavement. And I don't know if you know this, but water moves fast on pavement. And so we need to make sure that as that quickly moving water is moving towards our Cuyahoga River, towards our lake, we need to make sure that we can slow it down and make it act more like a forest. And so that's what this rain garden is going to do. So this rain garden is designed for water to run through our inlet pipe down here, and water will trickle through the practice and hopefully it will infiltrate. Right now you can see it's not working properly because we have standing water, which is bad, and it'll end up filtering down. There's a pipe underneath the ground here that travels to this outlet structure on our right. And so the outlet structure, if you were able to look inside there, you'd see a small pipe that comes in with a small hole. And that small hole is designed to capture the water and slow it down before it goes into a bigger pipe on the other end that goes into our storm system, which eventually goes to Lake Erie. And so we want to treat all this water quality because Lake Erie is where we get our water that we drink. And we can use filters to treat that water, but it's better if it's clean before it even gets to our water plants. So my job is to make sure that this rain garden is working right. So to make sure that it's working right, I want to check and see, is it clogged? So I would go and I would look in the outlet structure and I would see, is there a bunch of leaves piled up in the outlet structure? I would take a picture. I would get my camera down in the hole and look at it, and then I would say, this is clear. property and say, hey guys, you've got some leaves in your outlet structure and you need to get them out of there, because if they're in there, water's bypassing the rain garden, it's not going to get filtered like it's supposed to, and it's going to go straight to the stream. Similarly, here on this site, we've got some flooding going on in this rain garden. That's because it's not ready for prime time yet. This rain garden isn't finished, but if this were to happen after it was finished and we were to have this standing water, that would mean that the water's not filtering through, and that would mean something clogged this. So maybe some sand got in it when it shouldn't have, and it's not working properly anymore. And if this is flooding and not filtering, it's not treating our water quality, which is what we want it to do. And someone's going to have to come out here and fix it. So that's, in a nutshell, what I do. And so I look at these practices like rain gardens, or it might be a pond or a swale, it might even be a green roof or porous pavement. So we might have pavement that has holes in it so that water can filter through the pavement. You know, and out in an agricultural area, you would have those filtered grass swales, and we want to make sure that all of those practices are treating our water quality as it goes into the practice. And that's because we want clean water in our Cuyahoga River so it doesn't catch on fire ever again. So if you have any questions for me about the Soil and Water Conservation District, about stormwater, about treating water quality or watersheds, or how do I get a cool job like Elizabeth playing in the streams all day, feel free.